Ready for another round? It's Brewsday Tuesday. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
Here we are now. Fetus Beers. It is Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. And now I'm the Blurry boy. Now I'm the Blurry boy.
You went too close. It's like Icarus.
So, of course, I'm talking about if you're watching us on the Facebook Live and or the YouTube, feel free to subscribe, and you can watch us drink beer. Probably not 100% necessary, although you do get to see the cool cans. And if you did see me go blurry before, the reason why was I held up this can from the brewery, the Blurry Brewery. And this is what I was referring to earlier about how they have such good beers. And this beer, I think, was made for this show. Because from the brewery I hold in my hand, so happens it's Tuesday. Which, what else would you drink on a Tuesday? An imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels, coming in at a nice and hearty, as Huck would say, birthday session, 15.3%. I don't know how we haven't had this beer on the show before. It must be new because, 2020 edition. This thing's been around. How have we not had this on the show?
Well, I mean, I saw it, and I was so proud of that find. That's the keystone of my entire beer run right there is the so happens it's Tuesday.
And I must commend you on your beer run because I have been thoroughly impressed, and basically I need to step up my game because when you compare these to the beers I brought last week, it's a little bit pathetic.
The Cellar, man, they got you covered. I've got the Brooklyn Black Ops from Brooklyn Brewing, and I'm going to go ahead and try and pour this so you can see. First of all, it's 12.4%, but it's also dark as night. So is yours.
I think mine might be even darker, honestly. And that being said, I know, obviously, Brooklyn, you can imagine where that brewery is from, but the brewery, do you know where the brewery is out of?
I actually don't. That was a label grab.
Brewed and canned by the brewery. What were the beers we drank earlier? I'm just trying to think of why. Placenta, California. And then I realized, oh, no, wait. That's not quite what it is. Placentia, California is where the brewery's
California. All right, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
This one, thankfully, I can say Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's easier. Yeah, that's it. And I also got to commend the can for the brewery. It's cool. It's green and cool, but it's got the gold top. How often do you... I guess you see that for, Miller Lite, I think, has the gold top like that.
To me, it's just so classy. It looks
Very
like a very Great Gatsby themed. Mm-hmm. Like a roaring 20s party, which is not what we've had this time go around with the 20s.
Mm. So as I mentioned, I know the brewery had a very fancy white chocolate beer. That being said, I did peel off the price tag. I know that this beer was not cheap. So again, thank you for bringing this to the table. That's what you're going to get with the brewery. It's definitely, you get your bang for your buck because the beers are they're so very, very, you're nodding your head. You don't know what the word I'm going to say is, but that's because I don't even know what the word I'm going to say. But just, they're very... All right, what's the word? You were nodding your head. You knew what I was going to say.
Classy.
Not classy. No, just unique. They're usually odd. They'll have beers that are just such a crazy combo that you never would have thought of before.
They're an experience.
And then when you try it, you're like, whoa. Basically, yeah, I'll say that. That should be their catchphrase. When you pop a brewery beer, you take that first sip, you'll probably say, whoa. Or wow. One of those two. Like
Depends
I just
on
did.
what
I don't know if I said it under my breath.
Line you're on.
The first sip I took,
he did,
said it
and there was a visible reaction.
Mm. Oh my gosh, that. Whoo. You know how I don't know if you listened to the show that Huck and I did with BB when she came in to test our ABV knowledge of blind beer testing, if it was a beer that was above or below 6%. And I nailed every one of them, except for the last one. I was swayed out of my original thinking. However, with this beer, you definitely know it is more than 6% when you take this sip, man. Oh my gosh. And plus it's got the bourbon barrels. Poor Huck. Huck is going to be so mad that he left early because he needs to drink this beer. This is amazing.
May have to get him a care package together. I don't know what I've done over here, but Brooklyn Black Ops. I'm 99% sure I'm drinking wine right now.
Really? I mean, that's definitely a beer.
Like,
you can tell there's a head.
I mean, yeah, but the
It's
smell,
got
and the
lacing.
taste, it's
So what's it supposed to be again?
it's a stout aged in 4 Roses small batch bourbon barrels.
And so,
But I'm not getting any notes of bourbon.
aged in bourbon barrels, not wine barrels, because you'll come across beers that are aged in wine barrels, which that's cool. But it's bourbon, but it tastes like wine. Are you a bourbon guy? That's the other thing. Huck and I always.
Yeah, that's my
saw eye
go-to.
to- Yeah, bourbon. What's your bourbon?
I mean,
Don't say Buffalo Trace, because that's
based on budget. My go-to is Evan Williams White.
All right, yeah, that's
But
fair.
it's been hard to attain lately. I've recently found Old Ezra Brooks,
Oh, okay.
and pretty good. I mean, they got the cork top, so it can't be too bottom shelf.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one actually.
It'll do in a pinch. Just as long as you don't go Old Crow, you're doing okay.
Right. Which, by the way, don't hate on Old Crow, but yeah. Obviously, Huck and I, we're big Buffalo Trace guys, but it's hard to come by around here. However, I do have a pretty steady stock, so, I do have that, but yeah, I love a good Makers and Woodford, and actually, JT, apparently he's getting into the rye. I got him a
He
nice
is getting
bottle
on
of
rye.
the Woodford rye, which I haven't actually had before, so I have to ask him how that went down. I do love a good bourbon.
I've been trying to branch. Bourbon's just so easy for me. I've tried tequila. I've done Canadian whiskey. Canadian whiskey's okay. Irish whiskey, okay. Bourbon, I think, is where we really kind of hit our mark as far as liquor availability because just the whole process is just beautiful.
It's great. That being said, I know when we had Tequila Steve in, and he brought in some crazy awesome tequila, I do have a new appreciation. That helped open my eyes because there is some damn good tequila out there, and rum for that matter. I've had some really, really good rum that usually you don't. I always think when I think of rum, I think of rum and diet. That was my drink all through college and stuff. And even beyond, that was kind of my go-to drink at the bar. I switched to bourbon, but rum and diet was always my drink. But man, there's some good rums out there that you can drink straight.
So
Spice rums too.
Rum's
that's
one of those
popular.
ones that's tricky for me. It's a summer beverage for me.
Yeah,
rum
okay.
definitely has to be, and I'll do it with orange juice, mango juice, pineapple juice.
You're at the beach.
You mix it with juice, and you're sitting poolside. Rum is
Oh,
a
yeah.
great buzz.
Good way to go. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man, I'm a big bourbon guy. And however, since going to Scotland and marrying a Scot, I've come to appreciate the Scotch too, which I always thought was a bit more sharp. And it does have that, but man, there's some good Scotch out there.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a conversation about that off air. I've not had a lot of Scotch, but I'm willing to try new things.
Well, we've been known to drink not strictly beer on this show, so there might be a show in the not so distant future where I can help squeeze. Now, I'm not an expert in Scotch by any stretch of the imagination.
Still technically whiskey.
It
which
is.
is
It's definitely whiskey, but
By and large, my favorite
is it whiskey
category.
with or without the E?
E is an American thing, as far as I understand it.
I think you're right. I always forget.
'Cause I know the
you're right.
Canadian-
We throw
it was
the E in, it's a Y.
Canadian Goose Hunter, something like that. It was without the E, and I was so intrigued. It was also a camouflage bottle. First and last time I drank it.
But that being said, the whole reason we got onto this topic is because these beers we're drinking are practically liquor without how big the ABVs, man. This is a big show. I definitely did not eat enough prior. I didn't realize you were grabbing such big beers.
Well,
in fact,
so I
think,
invited you to go with me because I was going to sit down and eat this Philly cheesesteak sub that I've been dying for from the cellar, and I had to eat it by myself. So if you're hungry,
that's a whole nother topic of conversation. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. Well, I didn't realize that there was stuff going on at the station I had to be back for, and then I forgot that you were going to go to. And it was a big thing. It was a big ordeal. But I am sorry I didn't get to go with you. I definitely should have. I didn't realize what all was at stake. No pun intended there. But yeah, I definitely should have went with you because I could have learned a thing or two, man, because your beer run has been fantastic. I'll go ahead and say it. I think everybody already knows this is going to be a 5 for me, man. A 5 show right out the gate. You're setting the bar a little high, Nate.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
I can pretty much guarantee that.
So, yeah, this Brooklyn Black Ops, there's literally barely any information printed on the can. If you're watching on video, you can see that. You've got the ABV, fluid ounces, the Four Roses small batch edition. So, small batch, it's going to be
a small batch.
Yeah, so they're going to go big or go home, and I think they went big. And
do you like Four Roses?
I've never encountered Four Roses.
It's bourbon. It's good bourbon.
No, I've never run into it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
So I've not had the opportunity. So I mean, I guess maybe that's where I'm catching the. I'm not used to the flavor of the bourbon barrels they use, but I got to be honest with you, man. This might be my first in the new era of Brewsday Tuesday. My first 5.
Really? You never gave a 5. Or you did?
In the new era.
The new era.
With Huck, yes, I did.
Well, yeah.
And they were deserved, and there was usually a great source of argument between Huck and I, but this is a solid brew.
There you go. That's all I'm saying, man. Second show in, and we're throwing out 5s, yin and yang. Oh, boy. Again, I'm sure next week, I don't know how we're going to top it, but we'll have to try and figure something good out, man, because this has been a damn good show. I don't know about how it has been for our listeners, but at least drinking-wise, I'm sure we're
having fun.
They're
having fun.
It's probably just going to the wayside since we're sitting here drinking, 12+% beers. Man, this is a hearty brew, man.
This was a beer run.
Did they have any more of these? So happens it's Tuesday at the cellar.
They're selling it by the 6-pack.
No way.
Or no, the 4-pack.
I was about to say a 6-pack.
Yeah, 4-pack.
Even a 4-pack of this.
4-pack ain't cheap.
Ooh, I guarantee it ain't cheap.
But it'll last.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I might have to swing by there. I know that we got the tech game tomorrow. I'll be out in the Blacksburg area. I might need to swing through and see if I can get my hands on this. Thank you so much for going on that beer run, and once again, thanks to the cellar for supplying and having such great inventory. I suggest you go and do a beer run, and of course, I suggest you keep it locked here because after the break, we'll get back to the tunes right here on 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.